Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news. I hope you're doing very well today. This is match day and it's a massive match day for Manchester United. But we're going to be talking about the latest news first of all. It wasn't a dream yesterday, no. I mean, we did get those comments. I even saw the official Manchester United account tweeted it out, which I'll read out in a moment. But we're going to start off talking about Manchester United and Paul Pogba. There was an update from Romano yesterday about Paul Pogba, which we'll discuss on the morning show. But I think the big thing about today is that we've got to win, and I do think we will win against Villarreal. But the interesting thing is, he going to change that midfield, and for me, he has to do that. You know, Van der Beek is fresh, Matic is fresh. Pogba looked out of sorts on the left wing. I think most of this comes down to the fact that he's got inept midfielders in the midfield. And when I say inept, I'm talking about them as a pair. I didn't like Maguire and Lindelof, but I did have faith in Maguire. And obviously Maguire and Varane I'm more than happy with. So look, for me, I see McTominay and Fred as a combination. If they don't like the fact that people call them inept, do something about it, react to it. You know, stop bumping your gums, and, you know, Ollie needs to stop defending himself. It's stubbornness, and, you know, it's going to cost us. At the end of the day, I'm a little bit worried tonight that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who is very stubborn, will say, I will not be dictated to by fans or the media or ex-players. I'm going to stick with Scott McTominay and Fred in the midfield because they bring energy and trust. And, you know, I mean, it's like he's trying to find an energy supplier, isn't it? You know, I need an energy supplier I can trust. British Gas, OVO, N-Power, Fred and McTominay. You know, get a proper bloody midfield going, Ollie. And tonight is the night to do it, because I think, look, we can beat Villarreal with McTominay and Fred. We can beat Liverpool with McTominay and Fred. We can beat Man City. Nobody's saying we can't do that. We have done that. But what we have done in those games is we've played pretty much pragmatic football. And I think, you know, speaking to like Kev and Adam and Beth, who were at the game at the weekend, and others, there was murmurings. Now, look, I've not been to Old Trafford for a couple of years because of COVID and doing the United Stand, and I'm looking forward to getting up there. But, you know, when I used to go when we were playing under Van Gaal or Mourinho, there was, you know, anybody who thinks it's just, you know, like a church where everybody's singing happy songs, it's not. There's 75,000 people in there with opinions, and, you know, some people don't like certain things, some people do. And I think tonight, if he gets it wrong, I mean, look, if he plays McTominay and Fred and we win 5-0 and we play like we did against Leeds, everybody's happy and everyone's going, look, Ollie's right, he's at the wheel again. But if we don't, then there will be mumblings. Good day, mate, from Australia, says Nicholas. Thank you. Good morning, everybody who's watching. Thanks for the super chats. Anyway, let's talk about this Paul Pogba story. So Paul Pogba, this is from Fabrizio. I mean, funny enough, we had this story nearly over a week ago because we had Romano on Monday, but a week ago last Monday, and he said about Paul Pogba, there's been a contract on the table for months. And the reason I brought it in is not that it's new news, but I think it's interesting news about the situation with Paul Pogba that reflects the situation at Manchester United. And what I wanted to say is that, where do you sit on this at the moment? Because the story is that Paul Pogba's had a contract offered on the table for a few months from Manchester United, and he's basically said, wait, I'm not signing anything, you'll just have to wait. And he's going to make United wait on the transfer. And as Fabrizio said to us, and as he said a couple of days ago, it's about personal reasons and economical reasons. Economical reasons are how much he can earn. It's his final contract. Anybody who says it's not about the money is an idiot. Of course it's about the money. But it's also about personal issues as well. And those personal issues are, does he want to stay at Manchester United? Does he want to stay at Manchester United, having been here for 6 years, or does he want to go and try something new? And that's the thing I want to just talk about for a moment, because it brings it to the relevancy of now, and it brings it into the current theme of Manchester United. Do you think that if Paul Pogba was playing with Liverpool or Manchester City, he would have to wait long? Do you think he would have to wait, make Manchester United wait? He'd have the consistency of the performance on the pitch, and he would know that what Manchester United are offering financially, but he would also know what they're offering in a playing sense. If he was at Manchester City, he would know the style of football, and he would know that they are going to compete for the Champions League and the Premier League pretty much for the next 3 or 4 years. If he's at Liverpool, he'd know the style of play, and again, he'd pretty much know that Liverpool are capable of winning the Champions League and the Premier League for the next 3 or 4 years. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but he knows he's going to compete for it. Even Chelsea probably gives him more stability, even though Chelsea is not a club that goes along with stability. You know that at Chelsea, they've just won the Champions League. They normally win the Premier League once every 3 years. And they're going to be competitive, and they've got the owners who want to be competitive. So I think if Paul Pogba was at Manchester City, Chelsea or Liverpool, I'm not saying he'd sign the new contract, But I don't think he'd have much to wait about. I think Man City, Liverpool and Chelsea could say to him, well, what are you waiting for then? You know, you're clearly going to go, aren't you? Which I think he is going to go. But it's not like if Man City went, look, there's the offer on the table. Are you going to sign it? He can't go, well, I'm just waiting to see how the season goes. Because you'd go, well, you don't need to wait how the season's going to go because you know we're going to compete for the title and you know we're going to compete for the Champions League like we did last year, the year before, and we will do next year. So you're going to go, aren't you, Paul? And let's be honest. And Man City would know that, and I think Liverpool would. At United, thanks for the chat, Lucas. At United, what I'm trying to say is that we suspect, well, I suspect that Paul Pogba's going to go because he wants a new challenge and he wants, you know, a big contract. But in fairness to Pogba, what's he signing a new contract on? On the money, yes, we know what United have offered on the money side of things. But in relation to the football project, would you sign a contract if you were at Manchester United right now, apart from being a die-hard Manchester United fan, but if you were a top-level footballer who'd been at United for 6 years, you've never been in a title race, you've never been in a Champions League final, would you sign a new contract based on, but this year's different, Paul? No. You're going to have to wait until, you know, at least well into the season before you go, yeah, this is something new. And that's where Man United have missed the trick again this season. They've turned this season already into a guessing game. And I don't think that provides any sort of security for somebody like Paul Pogba to say, yes, I'm going to sign a contract before Christmas. I don't think he was going to sign a contract anyway, but why would he sign a contract? We could finish 4th, we could finish 1st, we could get knocked out into the Europa League, we could go all the way to the final. There is no certainty. And yeah, people would say you're having a laugh, we're not going to get to the final, we're not going to finish 1st. But what I'm saying is, the permutations are all over the shop, and yet people are saying Paul Pogba should sign a new contract. He shouldn't sign a new contract. He's absolutely right to say you can wait. And I would never stick up for Raiola or Pogba when it comes to, you know, taking the piss out of United and not letting their contract run down. But, you know, I actually do agree with them on this situation, because whether it's about the money or not, I wouldn't sign a new contract at United because this is my last contract, and next year a Real Madrid on more of an upturn than Manchester United, a PSG in a better position than Manchester United, you know, a Barcelona going to be on more of an upturn next summer than United. Well, I wouldn't go to Barcelona at the moment. I don't think Real Madrid are in a great position, but they might be in a year's time, and United might still be in this position where we have been for the last 8 years, where, yeah, we'll spend a load of money, but we never actually build a proper team, and we never have a proper style of play, and we never really give players or fans that vision that we are on the right track. So it's an interesting one. And I look, on Paul Pogba, let me just say, this is in no way dismissive of Pogba or even taking a pop at Pogba. It's actually understanding of Pogba. I do agree with the situation that he's in, and I think he will run his contract down, and ultimately I do think he will go. But I don't blame him for not signing a contract anyway, because I think United are displaying inconsistency yet again. And why would he end his career at United? I think it would be a mercenary move to sign the contract, because there's nothing but, you know, predictions and dream. You know, there's no clarity on what's actually going to happen at United. And to be honest with you, the next month is going to be massive for us. Do you think Dan James started every week because he had energy and desire like McFred? Also, if we got Ten Hag as manager, do you think Van der Beek would start? Says Lucas Wade. Well, you know where I sit on get this manager, get that manager. I don't actually believe it. I don't get involved in it because, you know, for one, I know the club have got no intention of doing it, and for two, I've not really spent any sort of time thinking about it. So I don't really know what to say to you in relation to other managers. I would hope that Van der Beek would start tonight. I really would, but you know, I'm not 100% that he will. But look. If anybody wants those quotes from Ollie again about the midfield, which feeds into Pogba, I mean, let's move it on a minute. We've got this massive game tonight. I want to talk a bit about the injury comebacks and a bit about Amad Diallo as well, and a bit about Sancho and a bit about Declan Rice. But, you know, we've got this massive game again tonight. Some people talk about Van der Beek, some people talk about Nemanja Matic, but I've just spent a few minutes talking about the Paul Pogba situation and whether he should sign a new contract. And ultimately, this player doesn't have a stable position within our team. I know he's playing off the left, and I think it's fair to say that Ollie will always find a place for Pogba in the team, but find a place for a player that many of you have said over the years you need to build a team around. Well, I don't care what anybody says. I'd have the argument with anybody. I'd have the argument with Paul Pogba. He might like playing on the left wing, and I'm sure he prefers playing on the left wing to in the midfield, because playing in the midfield for United is a dead role. You're not allowed to attack. You've just got to protect the defence, and I think Pogba hates that, so he'd rather play off the left wing. But I'm telling you now, Paul Pogba's best position is in the midfield. And if Paul Pogba doesn't appreciate that, then, you know, he doesn't really understand how good of a footballer he is, because Paul Pogba is best served in the midfield. If you play in the midfield, Fred will touch the ball more tonight than probably whoever the wingers are. He will. You're in the middle of the pitch. You get more of the ball. Your right back can give it you. Your left back can give it you. Your right centre back, your left centre back. Your number 10. Your right winger, your left winger. If you're on the left wing, you're not going to get the ball from Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You're not going to get the ball from Raphael Varane. You're not going to get the ball from Mason Greenwood. Mate, you want Paul Pogba on the ball as much as possible, because he's the best player we've got on the ball with Bruno. So you've got to do that. Mark, so you think not was Fred will be dropped if he craps his pants on the pitch tonight? Oh, that's a silly comment, Morgan. Come on. We're better than that. I watch every day, and you've criticised Ollie's lack of tactics, terrible for midfield, no ambition, no trophies, no playing the United way. Plays in the wrong position, yet you're convinced he's the right man. He's not, says Jeremy. I haven't said he's the right man. Scott McTominay is Solskjaer's pottery project to help mould him into becoming a Roy Keane of this team, but there is no comparison and no chance, says Stephen. Mark, so, okay, I've read that one as well. Thanks for the super chats. I mean, just before I read something to you, I've said to you this before. I said this at the weekend, so you're not wrong there, Stephen. You're sort of hitting on something I said at the weekend, and this was something I was told, that Ollie sees McTominay as his Roy Keane. Sir Alex Ferguson had Roy Keane, his leader on the pitch in the midfield, and Ollie sees McTominay as that. Now, I don't really have a massive problem with McTominay or Fred as individuals. It's the pair. I don't mind trying McTominay and Van der Beek, or McTominay and Pogba, or Fred and Van der Beek. You know, I don't mind seeing those combinations. I just can't stand Fred and McTominay. You know, I really can't. And we're probably going to see Lindelof and Varane tonight, and it might work. I just don't like Lindelof and Maguire. So it's not about the individual player, although I do think Fred's played awful for a very long time. It's about the combinations. That's what frustrates me the most. But look, you can't polish a turd. I've said this so many times. You cannot do this. You can't just go, he's from the youth setup, he runs around a lot, he's got a lot of passion, he loves the shirts, he's going to be my Roy Keane. You know, we didn't do that with Roy Keane, we didn't do that with Paul Ince, we didn't do it with Brian Robson. We bought all of them. And Pep Guardiola, Pep Guardiola's arguably the best coach in the world. He can't just go in the youth team and say, I don't need to buy another Kevin De Bruyne or another, brilliant Ruben Diaz or something like that. I'll get someone from the youth. Or even better, Stoke's got a centre-back, I'll turn him into the next Ruben Diaz. You can't do this. You can't polish a turd. You can't create... The whole brilliance of football is that these Lionel Messis, these Ruben Diaz, these Bruno Fernandes, these Paul Pogbas, these Kevin De Bruynes, you can't make them. You can't make them. They are products of their own upbringing and their own talent and their own hard work. And that's why people spend lots of money on talented players. You know, Jack Grealish is a bit of a mystery to some people, but Pep Guardiola spends £100 million on him. You're telling me he hasn't got a youth player that's decent, but he spends £100 million on Jack Grealish? Because, one, because he can, but two, because that's a player that he sees something in that he hasn't got. And yet, we have fans who think that Solskjaer can look at a McTominay or a Lingard or a Brandon Williams or, a Phil Jones or a Fred or a Dan James, and he goes, yeah, you've got lots of energy and I trust you, so you can play first team football for Manchester United. It's not that easy. It's not just about passion, it's about ability. And I think too many United players don't get picked on ability, to be fair. I think Pogba will leave if we're not playing attacking football by January, which is unlikely. He wants trophies. Ollie doesn't seem to, says Keane. It's my birthday today, Mark. Can I have a shout out? Ollie at the wheel. Love the show, says Liam. You can have a shout out, Liam. Happy birthday. And fans are finally opening their eyes to Ollie because players are no longer making individual errors, and now it's just his tactics losing as games, says Football's Coming Home. Well, let me just read this again to you. I'm sure you saw it yesterday, but let me just read it again to you anyway. United actually tweeted this. It wasn't one of those scenarios where Ollie got asked about McTominay and Fred, he answered it in an honest way, and everyone's like, sweep that under the carpet, that was embarrassing. I mean, I thought it was embarrassing what he said, but, United actually tweeted it. And this was what the quotes, direct quotes. Scott and Fred are instrumental in breaking up the play. I really like the two of them. They're two I can trust to give me everything they've got. and the replies on that tweet are, something else. Specsavers replied, "Does Ollie have a Twitter account?" Literally, they did. People saying nothing on their technical qualities, which says a lot. Well, yeah, and I think that's the thing for me. Whatever you want to say about those two players as a pair, or whether you like them or not, I always think it's quite telling when a manager talks about energy and desire over ability. If you could buy 3 players in reason, who would they be? Says Nicholas Villagres. But I also had a thought about that last night. I was like, Ollie said about McTominay and Fred, energy, trust and desire. And he said they're instrumental in his breaking up the play. Why do you need 2 players to break up the play, Ollie? You only have 11 players on the pitch. Most people play with one holding midfielder to break up the play, whether it's Rodri, whether it's Fabinho, And then sometimes Liverpool will play with a Henderson who can break up the play but can also play football, as can Fabinho. Like, we've got 2 players who break up the play but can't use the ball. I don't mind if you can break up the play and then use the ball, but we play 2 players to break up the play, but they can't play football. It's weird. It's just a weird approach to playing football at a club like Manchester United, and this is what I mean. He's just got a very odd approach to football at the moment. For the last year, since he lost that game to Istanbul, his approach to football in the midfield has been very much about 2 workhorses breaking up the play, playing simple passes, and he wonders why he's got no bloody tempo. If you could buy 3 players in reason, who would they be? Says Nicholas. Well, look, I don't want to buy 3 players, Nicholas. I'm not. I don't actually enjoy Manchester United going out and buying 7 or 8 players each summer transfer window, and we don't do that anyway, thankfully. I'm not obsessed with the transfer window. I just think we need a holding midfielder. I would be very happy with 1 really good holding midfielder at Manchester United. I mean, yeah, we have got potential weaknesses in other areas, but I'm not greedy. I think we've got a team that can win the league if he picks the right players or if he buys a holding midfielder. What do you think of the possibility of our key players becoming demoralised if we don't win anything this season? They could exit eventually, says SPD. Well, I was joking on Twitter this morning. I said, look, I can't believe that some people don't rate Mo Salah. I don't like Liverpool. I can't stand them. They're our biggest rival. But what I have learnt over the last 8 years is that you do and can look at your rivals that you don't like and respect the fact that they play better football, they've got a better coach, they've got better players, they've got a better mentality. Mo Salah is not only a world-class player, he's got a world-class mentality and consistency. Now, that's not effort and desire, that comes as a standard. What I'm talking about, he's a world-class footballer talent-wise, but he consistently shows that game after game, and that's what the Kevin De Bruyne's do of this world as well. Paul Pogba is a fantastic footballer, world class at times, but is he consistent every week? Even Bruno, is he consistent every week? Is Ronaldo consistent every week? And the explanation there is, I'm not saying that Ronaldo's not one of the best players in the world, but against Villa, he had a very quiet game because the tactics were bad. We don't allow our players to be consistent because we don't play consistent football. And therefore I think Mo Salah in a United shirt wouldn't be anywhere near, is my point. But that is the point. How many times do you see Mo Salah or Sadio Mane or Henderson or anyone else tweeting about we go again, we've got to bounce back? Probably 1-2 times a season. United must have it on their drafts. They must start the season and just write it out about 30 times so that when it happens they can just go into the drafts and tweet it. We go again. We're fighting hard. And that creates that losing mentality. Because it's almost like they expect it, and then when they do it, it's like we go again, and it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hit deep, does it? I think when Liverpool lose a game, it hits deep. When Man City lose a game, it hits deep. When United used to lose under Sir Alex, it hits deep. We've become so used to it. So when you're asking questions about players becoming demoralised, I think it's become a standard at United for a lot of these players with the United DNA. But they're so used to losing. They're not used to winning. How many winners have we got in that team that we haven't bought? Well, I mean, most of them are bought, to be fair. But, De Gea, he's won a Champions League. Sorry, not won a Champions League. Won a Premier League a long, long time ago. Phil Jones. We've got a few sort of Europa League winners still at the club. FA Cup, Carabao Cup. And then Ronaldo, which we've inherited. There's not a winning mentality at that football club. There's a losing mentality at that football club. So when people say, players are unhappy, are they unhappy? Some of them have been for years here. We haven't won a trophy in 3 years, and a lot of players have been here for 3 years. Hi Mark, what do you think of the possibility of our key players becoming demoralised? We've done that one from SPD. Calvin Phillips for 60 million, yes please. And off topic, but Eddie Howe, top 6 manager, Spurs take notice. I don't want Eddie Howe, Ray. How can Ollie himself a manager when he just sits in his seat watching his iPad? Never seen him barking out orders, absolutely no in-game management. It's time to bounce Ollie, not bounce back, says Michel. He's exposed himself massively there and he doesn't even realise it. Do the other players not give him energy and desire as a bare minimum? And did you just spend 70 million on a player you can't trust, says Karash. That's a very interesting point by Karash, actually. I'd never thought of it like that. So when Ollie comes out and says that he loves McTominay and Fred because of their energy, desire and trust, that really is basically saying to Van der Beek, Matic and Pogba, I don't trust you to play in the midfield for me over McTominay and Fred. I'd rather play those two players who aren't as good over you. It's a big up yours to Van der Beek. It's certainly a big up yours to Matic. And to a certain extent, it's a big up yours to Pogba, even if Pogba wants to play on the left. It's a good point. It is a good point. Well made. But again, I think Ollie's press conferences have been a lot better, but I think the last couple have been, not the best. And maybe that's because he's feeling the pressure, I don't know. But I think we will win tonight. Look, just going back to that though, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Harry Maguire's ever won a trophy. I know he's been relegated, but that's by the by. And I like Harry Maguire as the captain, but he's not a winning captain, is he? That was why it was so important to try and win that Europa League, because you do feel different when you're a winner. You do. That's why obviously being English, I wanted England to win the Euros, but I was just like, this will be such a big boost to the mentality of a Luke Shaw and Harry Maguire if they come back to United with a Euro. To know what it's like to win. To know what it's like to go through a 60-game season and end up with a winner's trophy gives you an arrogance and confidence that you build upon. We don't have that. It's so important for United to win something because we need that winning mentality. How many semi-finals? The Europa League, second place. We're serial losers, effectively. And that gets into your head as much as winning does. So, It's a tough one. No one's got a divine right to win, but the mentality in that football club, I'd say if you were, being absolutely fair, regardless of whether we were top of the league now or whether we were in the relegation zone, I think it would be fair to say that in relation to a Solskjaer and a Carrick and a McKenna and the current setup, they're all in the same boat where they want to win, but none of them have, and none of them know how to. In a managerial sense, obviously Carrick won a lot of leagues, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer won a treble, but that's as a player, as managers and coaches and the current set of players, we don't really have that winning mentality. Apart from obviously someone like Cristiano Ronaldo, who's won it all, and we bought him in the club to hopefully give us that. Do you think Ollie is capable of winning any silverware? Because I can't see it anytime soon, says Phil. I think we're massively underestimating the situation. We lost 1-0 to Villa at the weekend, and it was inexcusable, and it was very disappointing. But having said that, we have got Bruno Fernandes, we have got Cristiano Ronaldo, and we have got many other top-class players. And, I don't think it's possible that we finish outside the top 4. I really don't. Do I think we can win the league? No, because I think Chelsea, Liverpool and Man City are more consistent. Do I think we can win the Champions League? No, because I think Man City, PSG, Bayern Munich, Chelsea, Liverpool are better than us. So it's going to be very, 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 very difficult for us to win a trophy, but we do need to win one. But I do think we'll win tonight, and I do think we you can't underestimate. It's all right, Gary Neville saying it, Rio Ferdinand, other ex-players. We've been saying it on this channel for a long time. We're a team that basically defends as a team and tries to rely on individualism. That's not going to change. I think people think, the bubble's burst. We finished second place last year, grinding out results, game after game after game. Strong defence with a back six and scoring goals. Look, I can show you the animation. This is what we did last season. It wasn't with these players, but you play your back six and you have your front four. You keep it tight so people can't score against you, and then you hit on the break and you use those moments. Moments FC. That's not going to change. We're not going to stop being Moments FC, are we? We're still going to be able, we could still win tonight on a Moments. We can still win 2-0 tonight, back six, win on a moment. And then, Everton at the weekend. I said this after the Villa game. I think we'll go and win probably our next 4 games. I think we will win tonight. I think we'll beat Everton. I think we'll beat Leicester away. And I think we'll win against Atalanta in the Champions League. And then I think we play Liverpool, and that'll probably be a draw. And then, we've bounced back then, 4 wins and a draw. So I fully expect this to happen. It's happened so many times. And because this is the plan of Ollie, isn't it? He knows this works. Go back to being pragmatic and defensive and then rely on a moment of individualism. And I think that's what we're in for. And what will happen is we'll win a few games, and obviously everyone will be going, oh, all the Ollie outers have gone quiet, and then maybe in 6 or 7 weeks we'll lose another game like Villa, and it'll all go round again. Which is why I'm just so desperate to see us play a different style of football. And to me, it's symbolic in the midfield. McTominay and Fred not playing together is like Maguire and Lindelof not playing together. And if we can change that thing, and I don't mind if McTominay starts, and I don't mind if Fred starts, just not together. It's symbolic of this pragmatic, dire football that we've all become fed up with. Doesn't mean McTominay can't play in midfield with Matic. Doesn't mean that Fred can't play in midfield with Pogba. But I just don't want to see the pair of them anymore. Rohit says, I rewatched the first 25 minutes of the Wolves game just to look at Fred, and I felt sick to the core, similar to what I felt during the last days of Moyes, says right. He just can't play that role. There is a massive sympathy. The manager picks the team. I am sympathetic to Fred. I do think there's a player in Fred. He gets called up for Brazil, which, to be honest with you, I don't actually know how good Brazil are. But, he's not terrible. 18 months ago, he was one of our best players. But he was playing with Matic 18 months ago. There's a big... Look, Ricky would love this, but there is a big, big, big hint that Solskjaer just cannot see. It's staring him in the face. I wonder if sometimes Matic just goes and stands in front of Ollie silently and stares at him. What you doing, Nemanja? Why aren't you talking, Nemanja? It's like you're staring me in the face, Nemanja. I don't get it. But it is staring him in the face, because if you think about it, 18 months ago, Fred played his best period for Manchester United next to Matic. I think we had injuries at the time. They did really, really well. When he first came into the club, Ollie, he played Matic, Herrera and Pogba, and he got the job. When Pogba came back after COVID and Bruno had been playing well, he played Matic, Pogba and Bruno, and we went on an amazing run from about... We're not going to finish in the top 4 to 3rd, Europa League semi-final. We ran out of steam. Last season, we finished 2nd. We embarrassed ourselves in a lot of games, but we grinded it out. And he hardly used Matic. And the football wasn't good. There's 3 examples there of United's probably best 3 periods. And yes, Bruno was a big part of that, but Matic played as well. Why aren't we using Matic anymore? Because he can't play out 3 games a week. Well, why is he here then? Why didn't we get rid of him and get somebody who can? I think the sad thing is, Ollie has used the midfield in the right way. But he's chosen to go to this double protection instead of one. And if Matic can't do the job anymore, then he should have been let go and we should have brought someone who can. Klopp lost 7 finals in a row or something, but then won the Champions League and a lot of trophies followed on. Do you think we need to win something for that to happen, like winning the Premier League, says Michael Kim. I don't like people comparing Ollie to Sir Alex, because I remember what Sir Alex was like as a coach for United, and the football was very, very different. And I really don't think we should be comparing Ollie to Klopp. Klopp's always had a distinctive style of football. But if we'd won that Europa League final, or even, Europa League final was more important to United. If we'd won that Europa League final, I think we'd be a different United. It gives you an extra belief. It gives you an extra confidence to know that you've actually been the best in that tournament and won something. Mark, Ollie should think to change his coaching staff. He has qualities. Sir Alex used to keep changing his coaching staff too. Carrick and friends aren't good enough. I don't like their tactics at all, says Kin. He won't change it. I've said this before. He won't change it, and the reason he won't change it is because if you think back, Manchester United sacked Mourinho. They brought Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in with the idea of him doing it for a few months, and basically it was sold as, Ollie, I know you're manager of Molde, but would you like to come and manage United till the end of the season just to steady the ship? Ollie was, of course, like, I would love to if Molde will let me, and they did. And they said, basically, we're not going to leave you on your own. We've got Carrick's going to help you out. Mike Phelan's coming to help you out. We're going to promote McKenna up. So basically it will just be you four till the end of the season, just to steady the ship, do a job for us, working together. And Ollie was like, yeah, let's go for it. And that's basically what's happened. People think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the manager. Yes, he is. But think back to what happened when they all came in. They were all together. It was all like mates together. Ole got the job because of that unit. There is no way he's going to change anything about that. And I suppose that's the disappointing thing, really, because you know what? A tactical change would be great. Bring in some, specialist coaches would be great. The club don't want to sack Ole because he makes them a lot of money and he protects them. Ole doesn't want to sack his coaching staff because they got him the job in the first place. So nothing's going to change on the coaching and nothing's going to change in relation to the coaches. So we have to just hope that the current coaching setup we've got actually change. People blaming Fred need to realise the manager's job is to hide the frailties of players with management. Fred hasn't been great, but Ole is to blame, says Nathan. And Mark, Ole should think to change his coaching. I've done that one as well. Just on a few other things to bring to you as well this morning. Ahmad is back in training. I know some of you mentioned that yesterday. Ahmad's back in training, but he's not expected to be ready until after the international break, also with Marcus Rashford. But of course, in relation to Ahmad, fantastic player, and really has torn it up in training at the club in the short time he's been here. But absolutely no prospect of any first team football. He needs to get fit and go on loan because that's where he was going to go. And again, you know what? That just drops into my head. Donny van der Beek, Telles, Ahmad, Palestri and now Sancho. We buy players and then don't use them. What's that all about? Why are we still buying players and not using them? I was on about this last night. I know Spurs have done it with that Romero as well. Like they've bought Romero and they're still playing Eric Dyer. And I'm like, what? Is this the new thing now? Buy a player and then don't use them. I don't understand it. And we're the kings of it. And people will say, well, look, we're playing Varane and we're playing Ronaldo. I'd be bloody worried if we weren't. But, Sancho, 74 million, has to start tonight. Can't be another game where we don't start Jadon Sancho. 74 million quid. Champions League proven, he should be starting games. And it comes down to trust and energy and desire again, doesn't it? I'm sure, I reckon Dan James would still be starting games at the moment. I think Dan James would start tonight if he was still at the club. I really do. And he can't even start for Leeds. We've got to move past this energy, desire, trust, hype thing and start picking talent. Maybe they're not at the level Ole wants because they're not being played and their confidence levels are low and they need to get used to it. They need to, Sancho needs to play. But Ahmad's another one, very expensive player in relation to his age. Where is he going to fit in at United? He's going to have to go on loan. Ultimately, I think Palestri's got no future at this football club. I'm not convinced Ahmad's got one. Alanga's another player. Where's he going to get game time? Hannibal's another one. Where's he going to get game time? We're so stacked with really good young talent, but you wonder about where the pathway to the first team is at the moment. But I think Sancho's got to start tonight. I really, really do. There was another story about Declan Rice. I know there was a story yesterday that we'd ended our interest in Declan Rice. We haven't ended our interest in Declan Rice, and there was a story from 90 Minutes yesterday saying that Ole is desperate to get Declan Rice. I do think Declan Rice is the priority midfielder that we want. I don't necessarily know whether he's the best one we want, but he definitely is available next summer. It's just whether United will pay that money and whether he'll be the big signing or not. But that's a problem for next summer. I still don't think that, as much as I think we needed a holding midfielder in the summer, and that would have been my priority, especially when you think about Sancho not starting games, and that 74 million could have gone. I like Sancho, by the way. I'm very happy that we bought him, but I do look at the situation and go, you're not starting him, which proves we don't need him. We could have spent that on a midfielder. How do you think Tuchel would set up with our squad, says Theo? I think we'd probably play a back five, mate, really. I do think he'd play a back five. I think he would have bought a midfielder as well, 100%, because those two midfielders in a Tuchel system are very important at the base of the midfield. So I think he would have bought one, to be honest with you. But look, we're going to see some changes tonight. I don't know whether Luke Shaw will start, but Wan-Bissaka can't start, Maguire can't start. So it was a week ago that we lost to West Ham in the Carabao Cup, and I thought this is going to be the last time that we see some of these players. But actually, Lindelof's going to have to start, Delow's going to have to start. I mean, I know some people think he'll pick Matic and Van der Beek, and I understand that, but he won't. He won't pick Matic and Van der Beek because he'll be like, I need to pick players I can trust. It's a game I need to win. There's no way. I'm convinced he'll pick McTominay and Fred and put Pogba on the left again and bench Sancho. But because Ollie has exposed himself over the last year. As soon as we lost to Istanbul, he exposed himself. He is all about trust, energy and desire. And who does he trust and who's got the most energy and desire? Well, it's the two players he spoke about yesterday. So I don't think we'll see any change in the midfield as much as I would like it to, because I think he'd be too scared to lose. He can't afford to not lose. He can't afford to lose this game. And what better way statistically to look at it than, when we play McTominay and Fred, we do get a lot of clean sheets. How do you think? I've done that one there. Okay, so yes. Do you think we'll play a back five tonight, Arsh? I would hope not. I think that, as a manager, you've got to have the courage of your own convictions. I've never seen Klopp play a back five. I don't think Pep's ever played a back five. Why are we playing a back five and we've not? Why bring in a plan B when you've not even got a plan A? And I don't like it when Ollie changes because there's no future. It's like playing Pogba on the wing. Theo says, what about Sean Dyche? Well, he does play a 4-4-2. It's like when he plays Pogba on the wing. There's no future in Pogba on the wing because we know when Rashford comes back, Rashford starts. So what are you going to do then? Bench Greenwood and Sancho and put Pogba on the right wing? We know that Pogba is going to have to be moved into the midfield. But he won't do it. And I don't know why. So if he plays a back five tonight, we know there's no future in it. It's just for one game. And I think Ollie is a short-term manager. I think he manages game to game. I don't think he looks very far in the future because I think he knows it's a results business and it's about winning your next game. And I think he looks short-term because ultimately Paul Pogba's going to have to play in the midfield. So why would you not play him in the midfield at home to teams like Villa and just play Sancho on the left? Because Rashford's back very soon, so you may as well get Pogba used to playing in the midfield. But no, I'll play Pogba on the left so I can play McTominay and Fred. But in 3 or 4 weeks, Rashford's going to play. Well, I'll deal with that then. It's quite short term. So he might go with the back five because that would be a short term solution for one game, wouldn't it? Can you do a video on possible Ollie replacements and their styles so we know what options are better? I'm not doing that, Nick. I'll get buried for that. I'm not going to start talking about Ollie. Maybe if we lose the next two. If we have wing backs, we can cross the ball in, says Akanesh. Yeah, well, yeah, you might get a job with Ollie Akanesh. Bloody hell. I mean, this is just basic coaching, isn't it? So we're going to play a back five so that the two fullbacks can get forward and put crosses in. Is that all we're going to do? We'll be playing with 7 defenders, mate. We'll have a back five and McTominay and Fred. That's 7 defenders. I don't like the back five. Hi, Mark. Are you Ollie in or are you Ollie out? Mikhail Roach, if you don't know the answer to that question, I'm fed up of that. I'm fed up of discussing it. I'm sure everybody else is fed up with it as well. If you can't understand it, then, it's not for you, is it? Ollie is a prat, says Kinshuk. And Mark, if we're being honest, Sancho is the Pogba replacement, considering Pogba plays on the wing more than he does in the middle, says the football gurus. Well, I want to see Paul Pogba playing in the middle. That's where I want to see Paul Pogba playing. If Arsenal get new owners, we're in trouble. I don't know whether that's true. David's talking about Arsenal new owners. If Arsenal get new owners and they spend money, United are in big shit. I'm telling you now, we will be in problems. The only reason we are, nailed on to get top 4 is not because we're one of the best teams in the league. We're the 4th best team in the league because of the finances we've got, and we've shown that this summer with Ronaldo and Varane. I think a lot of managers could get that United team to finish top 4. In fact, name me a manager in the Premier League that wouldn't get top 4 with that. Because I think, there's a few, but there's a lot that would. I'd expect Arteta to get top 4 with that team. I'd expect Brendan Rodgers to get top 4 with that team. I can't say David Moyes because he's already had his chance. But we will get top 4 because we've got those resources. If another billionaire football club comes along, like an Arsenal, I'd worry about us because Liverpool, Chelsea and Man City are too good to not be in the top 4. Now, I'm not saying we're going to finish 4th. We might finish 3rd or 2nd, but we will be in the top 4. If you add Arsenal in and they start spending money as well, 4 into 5 doesn't work. 5 into 4 doesn't go. I'd be worried if another billionaire football club comes into the Premier League because I don't think we're equipped. I really don't think we're equipped long term in the situation we're in to compete with 5 clubs for 4 spots. What's the difference between playing a back three and Matic dropping between the centre-backs during the build-up, says Andre. Well, we're getting into delving tactics now. Anyway, I'm getting tired. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this, Ollie. I think we'll win tonight. We need a bit of positivity tonight, and I think we'll win against Everton as well, but that's Saturday lunchtime. We will be live tonight from about 6:45 because it's an 8 o'clock kickoff with the team news. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of discussion about that team news because I think I know what it's going to be. My prediction is that it will be De Gea, Dalot, Varane, Lindelof. I think Luke Shaw will start. McTominay and Fred. Pogba on the left. Bruno. Greenwood on the right. Ronaldo. But we'll see what happens. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure you smash a like on the video. Bottom right hand corner to subscribe as well. It's a massive game for Manchester United. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope you are as well. Join us for the watch along, and we'll have the road trip going up soon as well. Speak to you all in a bit.